showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
Right. What is going on, folks? What is going on? I am here once again, man. Another episode. I say it every week. What is going on? Because I want to know what's going on in your life. Hopefully that when you're listening to this, that you had a productive week, that it was fun, that it was all those emotions, the good and the bad, but that you learned and you're becoming better people on this blue pearl that is flying through the vastness of space, man. Let's get to it. There's a couple of things that has been going on in this world that I'd just love to catch up to you guys about. So I guess no more delay. Let's get to it. Let's see if I can get this done under an hour, because I got to move on to other things. Yes, I am your host, Nova Phoenix, on GCOM Radio, on iHeartRadio, and I am here to discuss the first topic of the show. What's going on? Oh, big ups to California Governor Gavin Newsom, man. He just passed a huge police reform bill. It's named the Kenneth Ross Jr. Initiative. It's named that because back in April 2018, a gentleman by the name of Kenneth Ross Jr. was fatally shot by police while running away from them in Rowley Park, L.A., Los Angeles. And it does a few things. And I guess my man, Governor Gavin Newsom, is coming back with a vengeance now that he solidified his seat as governor of California. And so far, within this bill, it prevents police officers from being employed by other PDs after being convicted of misconduct, excessive force, sexual assault, demonstration of bias, and dishonesty. After that whole situation happened with Kenneth Ross Jr., I think the mayor said that the officer that was involved, I forgot to write down this officer's name, man. And for guys like this, everyone should know their name. And you know what? I will tell you this person's name. Let me see here. Let me see if I could grab this. Kenneth Ross Jr., police officer. Okay, let's see here. What is the dude's name? Paywalls. I hate freaking paywalls, man. Let me see. Here. And I was reading the article, and his name was right there, man. His name was right there. By the now retired guard. Damn, he's now retired. He shouldn't get nothing. Retired what? Retired means he gets suspension. He was shot by Gardena police officer Michael Robbins. In the Gardena, back in that area by Rowley Park in Los Angeles. So, as I said before, it prevents officers from being employed. And Mr. Gardena, this guy, he was a police officer in another state, got fired over there in that police department because of questionable behavior and action. He got hired in Gardena, and then someone else ended up dying under his watch while he was on the beat. So this bill denies any officers from actually getting jobs in neighboring or adjacent states or counties or whatever they're coming from, so you could keep those quote unquote bad seeds from getting into other police departments. It raises the minimum age of police officers from 18 to 21. It sets limits of using rubber bullets and tear gas to protect protesters and new accountability measures. Interesting, and I'll pluck that line from an article that I was reading. Sets limits of using rubber bullets and tear gas to protect. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm mixing up the lines. Sets limits of using rubber bullets and tear gas to protect protesters. I was thinking, my bad, y'all. I was thinking of like, how are you using rubber bullets and tear gas? The use of it in protecting and I'm sorry, I don't know how that logic got switched up. My bad, y'all. Yeah, so again, in order to protect protesters and new accountability measures. Now, California went along with 46 other states that's joining this decertification process, and I think that's a big up. So, I'm definitely critical, and I look down on any politicians or public figures that's not doing their job to protect their citizens, and I will call them out each and every time. But I'm also going to give some definite big ups to any politicians like California Governor Gavin Newsom when they actually do something right now. It's a matter of enforcing the laws. You can have 1,000 rules or laws on the books on any particular bill that you want to put forth, but if it's not being enforced, why even bother, right? So if you're going to do this law, it's important that people follow the law to the letter. It makes no sense for you to create this law and draft up this law, pass it, go through all this trouble if you're not going to enforce the law. Now, some people may say we already have laws on the books that protects citizens. And if there is, you don't really need any more laws. You just need to enforce the ones that you already have. But if in case that this law does cover some ground, I think it's a definite progress for the citizens of California, and hopefully we can continue to cover that in all states. Now, this says 46 other states. Like I said, I've never heard of any other states really putting it on the front page that they've actually done something to protect citizens from quote-unquote bad seeds in police departments. This is the first time I'm hearing there is a state that's actually doing this. But yeah, the point is, what is the purpose of putting forth a law if you're not going to enforce the rules? So let's see how this turns out in the future. All right, next one. Speaking of reform of police departments, it turns out right here in my hometown of New York City that there was a research done, an investigation by WNYC and Gothamist stating that some hackers released membership and email info of some NYPD officers that were a part of the Oath Keeper group. And everybody knows who the Oath Keepers are. They were definitely a part of the January 6th insurrection, and they're an anti-government extremist group, far-right extremist group that definitely that they're definitely dangerous, man, and something to look out for in your neighborhood, right? So they're saying that there's some police officers that are members of this extremist group. And the mayor, I'm about to say some other than Mayor de Blasio, is actually doing a full investigation to weed out any potential participants. Now, the WNYC and Gotham has actually contacted the NYPD asking about these individuals, these names or whoever, and if they're still part of it. And the NYPD said, guess what? They said they are no longer a part of this group. Now, wow. You know what? I would love for this to be the case where you can remove your name and you can magically no longer believe in the beliefs of a far-right group or any extremist group for that matter. I would love to believe that your ideology has shifted to something that's more humane once your name is removed from said list. But in the real world, that is not the case. So we know when it's hot and the light is shining, I mean, we talking about sun hot. I mean, those film lights are just blaring in every dark corner of the NYPD police departments. You know, these roaches are scattering. And they're going to take their names off and eliminate their Facebook pages and their Twitter, their social media. Not me. I mean, I went to a couple of group meetings, but that was back 2 years ago. I don't believe that in no more. Not me. Why are you going to peg me? Yeah, okay. All right. So we're going to just take this for face value, right? We're just going to believe them just because they said that, right? So, yeah, and, you know, this ain't nothing new because there was a federal document or report or something or other, whatever, that was released to say that PDs across America was infiltrated by white supremacist groups. We got to keep that in mind, folks. We got to keep that in mind, man. A lot of times we can, you know, we're human. we could get inundated with information on the news, on the radio, and social media, and one tragic situation to the next, and all of a sudden, what we were like totally, what's the word I'm looking for? We were totally blown away by 2 months ago. We want to change. We tend to kind of let it slip in the back of our minds, right? So yeah, that's interesting to know. That's interesting to know. So let's see how this turns out, right, in the coming weeks. In the last few months of Mayor de Blasio's run as the mayor, and I guess the next step is Eric Adams, how he's going to do this. And I got some thoughts that I wanted to say about that, because I read an article actually. I bought a newspaper for the first time in probably, I don't know many years. And it must have been like 20 years since I last bought a newspaper. I'm surprised they're still in stores. I bought the Daily News. I'm like, wow. And I needed it because actually I was doing, my daughter has a read sign, right? It's pressed wood, really cool. It's in script, all right? In pressed wood. And she asked me if I can and paint it into a color pink, a specific color that she wanted, a particular pink. Oh, fine. And I had this thing sitting a while, and I said, fine, let me get to it. So to keep the wooden floor, hardwood floors from getting paint on it in the walls, I bought a newspaper, of course, right? So I was reading this newspaper, and they were talking about this new thing that's happening in New York City, that instead of buying whole guns, there are people out in those New York City streets is actually buying different pieces of guns, and I forgot they're not metal. It's a non-detectable metal. Material. I can't remember what it is. I have the article sitting. Wait, matter of fact, do I have it sitting here? It's on my desk, as a matter of fact. Hold on a second. I ripped the pages out because I wanted to talk about it a little later. I wasn't going to talk about it today, but it's October 3rd paper. Let me see if I can find this thing. No, not that. Oh man, not that. Oh man, I threw it away. Oh, that's just messed up, man. I actually threw it away. Anyway, they were saying this gun is made of a non-detectable material, and I want to say carbon fiber. It's not some sort of plastic, whatever like that. So what happens is they're buying parts of these different type of guns, like Glocks, I guess, in pieces. That's not illegal to do on websites. And then, they get all these pieces and they assemble it at home. And then all of a sudden, here we go. Someone has a firearm, an illegal firearm in New York. And I'm like, I never heard of that. But, it's understandable. New things happen all the time. And I say, this is an easy fix. So I always read these articles to see what they're getting at. Okay, that's this new type of guns that people are getting, that they're made of this plastic, undetectable or non-detectable, whatever, however you say it. You can assemble these pieces, and it can show you on YouTube how to assemble all these different pieces into one whole gun, a Glock or something like that. And all of a sudden, people are going to start using it for, criminal means. Now, this is an easy fix, guys. It's not hard. It's not hard. Who knows how much is on the street? They said one particular incident where they got a guy, I think he shot a couple of people or something like that, with using a gun like that. So I guess this is on their radar as far as doing this new out on the streets program for the NYPD to start rustling up all these gun issues that are happening in New York, which hey, listen, I'm not on the streets deep, dark, down, and I'm not gangster with it out in these New York City streets, so I don't know what's happening in the underworld, but I'm sure conversations do happen that from people in the underworld, because people in the underworld, they actually do converse with family members and friends that just do regular shit. So you think this would be getting around in the hood, like, oh my God, there's a proliferation of these new guns that's non-detectable, and they're buying them in pieces. You think you would hear that? People talk, right? People talk. But they're saying they're capturing, in Daily News, they're saying they're capturing all these people with these new guns. And I'm like, okay, this is an easy fix, as I said before. Now, you know what you can do? Number one, you could get to the manufacturer of the people who are selling, or the distributor of whoever's selling pieces of a gun. They're saying it's not illegal to sell individual pieces of a gun. Okay, well, you know what? Get on your game. Get your local politicians together and do what you must. Okay, some of these parts are not in New York, they're in California, Idaho, whatever. We'll speak to the federal government. In the meantime, in between time, people are getting these guns. All right. The other thing is they're finding YouTube videos of how people can assemble these guns. That's another fix. Hey, you can block just the same way where you can't even talk about COVID, and they got this situation on social media. If you talk about vaccinations and COVID, that they're going to block you or put up some message, and they're going to threaten you to delete your account. Hey, if you can do that with COVID, or people talking about different things, whatever, for or against COVID, you could do the same thing with these YouTube videos that's telling people, showing people how to assemble these newfangled guns, right? So how are they going to actually get to this, right? So they're gonna start running up in the streets again. I don't know. I'm just saying they're gonna start running up in the hood, and you say they're gonna figure out who to quote unquote knock doors, door to door, to try to figure out who owns these guns. Right? Is that how we're gonna do it? Are you telling me this in the article because now you want to make it a part of this new anti-gun program initiative in the NYPD, where now you can go out there and figure out who has these guns, right? It's not black market. It says in the article people are buying it online from these online distributors in wherever state that they're getting it from. This is not hard to figure out how you stop this from happening. It's not like it's like some kind of I don't know, gumshoe movie where you got to go into the underworld in the bar and then go to the docks, and then you got to go to, I know, this dude's second, third house of his girlfriends, and you got to rustle up some people. It's some 21st century shit that's happening here. People are on YouTube. This is not hard to figure out how you stop these particular type of guns from getting all over the quote unquote neighborhoods in New York City. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I'm always skeptical. You know how it is. Man, you know what? I'm going to skip over that right there, this topic, because I didn't get this one particular topic. I'll get right back to it. Oh, that was the next subject matter that I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about a little bit. I'll pass that. Hey, listen. So last Saturday, there was several protests in Texas and cities across America. Abortion rights protests, of course, to go to speak their words and take a stance against these anti-abortion, or this one particular anti-abortion law that Governor Greg Abbott's, the heartbeat law, he's calling it, banning abortion after cardiac activity at 6 weeks. Of course, there's going to be a response to this. It's totally nuts. It's totally crazy what is happening in Texas. I don't know what the hell is going on with Texas. From caging people to whipping people back to Haiti to these abortion laws. I don't know what is happening in Texas. Everybody's moving to Texas. I tell you, I don't know if that's a place to move to. With all this shit happening, everybody's like, well, it's lower taxes and it's less expensive than Palo Alto, and and it's a great city. It's wide open. Yes, it's hot, but you know the houses are cheap. Right. I don't think. I know there are a lot of things that are on people's mind other than what I just mentioned when they're trying to choose a new place of living. Trying to find their new humble abode from wherever state that they want to choose, and they choose Texas. I guarantee that's not the only thing that's on their mind when it comes to where they want to lay their head. Abortion is a big factor. Okay. You want to make sure that you don't want to live in a totalitarian state that, you can use, I don't know, government agencies for whatever craziness that politicians think up, right? And as I said, definitely with the immigration thing, because, why is immigration, whenever you hear that word, it's a trigger word to hear black and brown. There's plenty of immigrants that are coming from European countries that are not being turned upside down, but we concentrate on the Texas border, right? So Texas, so there was a bunch of, thousands of people, including who was it? Jennifer Lawrence and Amy Schumer, that was a part of the New York rally as far as the being for the abortion rights. Now, my thing is, I don't understand what is with men. I really don't understand what does your ideology or your belief has to do with someone else's body. If you want to wear blue socks, that's fine. If you want to wear knee-high socks, and I like to wear ankle socks, is there a problem? You like to do what you like to do. I like to do what I like to do. That's just me. And I don't want to trivialize it and just, knock it down a couple of pegs to something as just choosing what you want to put on your feet, right? But it's almost like that. It is a woman's choice what they want to do with their body when it comes to something as heavy and deep and meaningful, and also in a lot of ways tragic when you're dealing with rape, because even rape doesn't come, it's not even on the radar of any of these Texas politicians. They say even with rape, no, you can't have abortion. And that's even nuts. That's insane. So what is it with men that tries to control women's bodies? What is it? I don't understand. I would like to know, if a woman decides that she wants to have a baby, whether it's agreed upon or not between two people, a man and woman, that is the woman's choice. I, as a man, have, I can simply say, hey man, I may not agree with this because I'm not ready for whatever reason, but ultimately it is up to the woman, because you know what? You know who has to go through it? A woman. It's her body. So how do men inject themselves or put themselves into the conversation whether a woman should have the right to have an abortion or not? Crazy. They don't have to go through that. And I went through it before when I was much younger. I went through the abortion thing. Yeah, I was seeing someone and it went down and it happened and she told me, and I was like, yo, whoa, heavy. And I told her honestly, I was like, I'm not ready to have this. I'm too young. I don't want to have any kids. And she was cool about it, and she was like, okay, I understand, because I don't want to do this by myself. And she already had kids. When I went to the clinic with her, I went down and we went downtown Brooklyn, went to the clinic, did the paperwork. I sat there, and I don't know how long it was. Probably it was like 45 minutes or something or other. She went through it. She came out, and it's not like, it's definitely like, okay, we did an abortion, walk out, that's it, and we're gonna go about our lives. It's not like that, folks. It's not like that. When a woman goes through the procedure, it weighs, it's like an anvil on their shoulders, because you just decided to make a decision where you no longer want to create this life. And I'm sure a woman questions herself if she made the right decision. And even if she feels that she did make the right decision, it still weighs heavy on her heart, because you're taking a piece of yourself away. And it's something that they would have to deal with for the rest of their life. It's not like choosing not to eat a moldy hamburger. And you say, oh, well, I don't feel like having that, or whatever, changing your what you want to eat at this local restaurant. It's not that. It's not like that in any way, even if the woman decides to go through with the procedure. It was heavy, man. Came back to my place, chilled out. We spoke about it for a couple hours. and just watch TV, did all that other stuff. But I wanted, as a man, I was like, yo, I don't want you to go through this by yourself, going through this thing. And eventually, she left. And even for me, for how I felt that same emotional energy was transferred over to me. I was like, man, I knew that I didn't want to have a kid, but at the same time, I was like, wow, this is deep, because I never went through it before. And I tell you this, I vowed to myself, if it ever was to happen again, then I wouldn't go through with abortion. I wouldn't do with it. I wouldn't go through with it. As a man, for me as a man, this happened in my 20s. Because I knew what mental stress, emotional stress this woman was going through, and what I was thinking afterwards myself, knowing I went through this process. You know what I mean? And now, of course, not everybody's like that. Unfortunately, there are those people that keep it real. There are some people be having abortions like it's a Happy Meal, and it's not funny, but they be like, all right, cool. Oh, I got pregnant. Okay, cool. I go down to the clinic. I'm like, nah. This is not. I mean, every time you have an abortion, and if correct me if I'm wrong, people out there, it's not like, okay, that's it and you out. You're doing damage to your female organs. You can't keep on having abortion one right after the other every 2 months, every 4 months. You're messing up your ability to have a healthy birth when you do decide to have a child. You can't keep having abortions like that. That's not how it works. So then down here in Texas, we have a bunch of I gotta say, I'm gonna keep it real, old white men making a decision for women. And it never is reversed on men. You ever feel that? You ever see that? It's never reversed on men. Men never have to say, hey, I don't feel like having a kid. I'm gonna get myself clipped. We never talk about, it always goes back to the woman. Well, maybe you should get your tubes tied. Maybe you should get an abortion. It's these heavy decisions are always pushed off on women. We never have to deal with the consequences of our actions. Again, that's self-centered patriarchy. So watching what's happening in Texas with this governor here, seeing what the reaction is with women across the United States, in New York and in Texas and a lot of other different states. And I fully 100% I'm behind women who support turning this thing around, man, because a man should have no place, in no way should he be involved in the decision of a woman going through this particular situation in her life. And I can't see it, man. And you know what, to tell you the truth, if the woman decides to have this kid, and even though the man don't want it, hey man, you take two to tango, my brothers out there. You're an adult and you mix it up with a woman. She ends up pregnant. She comes to you. Then you got to do what's necessary as a man to take care of this child. That's what it is as adults. When we make adult decisions and things happen, you got to man up and be like, oh, you know what? Damn. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, you go ahead, brother. Come on now. You got you did duty, so you just gotta be ready as a man to take care of your business. A woman shouldn't have to do it on herself, especially in this capitalist system that we live in, where it's so many expenses, and it can be let's keep it real, a financial burden, heavy, and I keep on using the word heavy, but it's real, man. No one person can take care of a child by themselves, man. It's a village. It takes a village. There's a lot of different expenses: food, there's clothes, there's taking them to school, there's other activities, and going on vacations, and all these things. It piles up. These expenses piles up, and a lot of times young ladies don't understand. Like some of them, they get in their head, I am woman, hear me roar, and they be like, I'll do it by myself. And then 2 or 3, 4 years later, it's like, wait a second, this is getting expensive. And they gotta go finding this dude. You know what I mean? They gotta go find this dude. And not to say there's these deadbeats. It's a lot more complex than that. There is even a lot of dudes that, you know, make the wrong decisions and they get with women and they got, you know, a kid comes out of it, and then because the man no longer wants to be with the woman but wants to be in the kid's life, the woman uses a kid as a weapon to strike deep into that man's heart, into that man's soul. So yeah, man, it's complicated when, you know, life is complicated as adults. And we make these decisions and we just got to roll with it. But yeah, as I said, man, I fully support these women to as far as going against this fool, Greg Abbott, and his stupid heartbeat law. So, yeah. So check this out, man. Amazon just did their fall 2021 product event. This is wild. I'm not going to go through every product that they want to sell, of course, for Christmas season. But there are definitely some things that did peak out. This Echo Show, I think Echo 15. Let me see here. Amazon Echo Show 15. I don't know. Some stupidness. It's the Echo Show 15, man. This is wild. It's like a wall unit laptop or computer. So basically take your flat screen computer or flat panel, whatever you want to call it, and put it up on a wall. But it's kind of dope, man. You put it up wherever you want it to. You want to put it in your kitchen, you want to put it in your living room, and it's super dope. You can adjust the widgets, like when it comes to your calendar, the temperature, a to-do list, sticky notes, family photos. You can have arts displayed. You can even have video calls, say, in your kitchen, and you can talk to people as you're doing dishes or whatever the case may be. You could do your shopping list. However you want to do it, I think it's super dope. And it costs $250. It costs $250, and it's an Amazon product. I mean, and you can personalize it in any way that you can. I mean, I like it. Actually, I just brought it up, and it's being sold. Oh, excuse me, it's coming soon, but it's actually in Amazon. They're gonna. It's a 15.6 inch screen, smart display screen. That's for $250. It's already on Amazon.com, man. So, would I get it for where I'm at right now? I got a lot of shit already. I got a big TV. I got an iMac 27 inch. You know, I got iPads all over the place. The only thing I don't own is an iWatch. I got a phone already. Why do I need an iWatch? I think when it first came out, I thought it was super dope. It's kind of like what's that comic I used to read, Dick Tracy. It was kind of like, oh snap! I mean, as a kid when I'm reading the cartoon strip Dick Tracy, and when the movie came out, when he's actually talking to people on his watch, I was like, nah, for real? And then all of a sudden Apple finally did it. Oh man, I was geeked. But then I think the novelty wore off. I'm like, I got a phone. What do I need another device for? You know what I mean? But I tell you this, I was just looking up recently of a wristwatch that I want to get, and it's not the iWatch. It's a regular smart minute hand, hour hand watch, but it's a particular watch in the way that I'm thinking about getting that, because I like to be different. Everybody I see that is walking around, they got an iWatch, their phone rings and they're picking it up on their iWatch and they're talking to people. So anyway, but as I said before, the Echo Show 15 looks pretty cool. People look it up if you want. The other thing is Amazon Astro. It's a mini rolling robot with a kind of like a laptop screen for a face. It plays movies. You can listen to podcasts, music. You could do video calls on it, you know, on the robot, like talk to your grandmother, whatever, while you're sitting in the living room or your bedroom, the kids, whatever. It has a periscope camera at the top of this Astro, where it goes up about 4 feet. So if you want to at least get like at least a kitchen table view of something, or a dining room table view, this Amazon Astro can do that. And it has a cup holder on the back. It recognizes faces when they see it. You can use it as a security, like it'll roam through your house. Of course, it has a certain AI that, it detects, no different from a Roomba. It goes around objects and such and so forth. So it'll go around your house, make sure that everything is okay. Super dope, right? It's cool. Now, what's the price tag? What is all this cute stuff worth? What's the damage? It's about $1,500. $1,500, folks. That's right. It's $1,500. However, you can get it for less, for $1,000 for an early access day one additions program that is going to come out later this year. So, I mean, I thought those were two things that I kind of liked, that stuck out to me, that hey, I would be interested in. The other thing that I had an issue with was with the privacy thing. And if it recognizes faces and it takes all this private info, this thing is going to be connected to the internet. How, what's the privacy situation? And they do say that whatever information that it collects on facial recognition, any other data that it collects about you, it's not something that's connected to the internet. It only collects this data on its onboard system. So in no way that a hacker can kind of grab onto any information through the internet. So they say it's something that's totally separate. When I heard about that, I was like, okay, cool, because I'm big on privacy. I'm not, I'm like a privacy addict, like not even an addict. I'm just pro privacy. I'm a private person. As funny as that may sound, I'm talking to you guys. But there's these devices and they're all around, and you putting all your information on there. And my guy was talking about, what was he talking about? He was talking about what was it? The Alexa or whatever, having the speaker thing on there. I was like, you sure you want that, man? The privacy? He's like, bro, listen. If you're talking about privacy as an argument and losing your privacy is gone. You know why? Because you have your phone in your pocket every day. If they wanted to get at who you were, it's already done because you have an iPhone in your pocket. So if you're thinking about having an issue with privacy because you don't want all these speakers in your home, it's already done. Damage is done. And when he put it like that, I was like, yeah, you got a point. You got a point. So I'm thinking about getting some of those, what do you call it? Those Apple Dots or whatever the case. I hear my phone now. There it goes. Somebody's hit me up on my phone. Excuse me, folks. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, man, that's wild. That's wild. So yeah, check out Echo Show 15 in the Amazon Astro. The other thing, man, it's funny. I was talking with some people here. And there's a couple things that I have issues with. I was like, when you go on a public transportation, when you're going on a bus, on a train, you're reading your book, you're listening to those sounds around you as you're going from point A to point B, and people are boarding the bus or the train, and all of a sudden, a part of that crowd is a bunch of kids. And those bunch of kids, their parents ain't around them, and they just cussing to the left of them, cussing to the right of them, cussing in the middle. Yeah, doing all this cussing, man. Yo, listen. Listen, we cursed when we was young. We did that. But you know what was different between back in the day when you were young to these kids today? Back in the day, if you cursed, there was an adult that was going to be quick to correct you. Like, yo, watch your mouth, young man. Bop, bop, bop. A young lady. Because there's old people and you want to respect the elders and you want to respect the kids, like 3 or 4. I'm like, but nowadays it's like nobody corrects these kids anymore. I don't understand. Like, these kids be cursing left and right, and I'm like, yo, they have no regard for whoever is on the bus, and then they don't even realize how they look when they just go. See, when I was youth, I didn't care. I was just doing what my friends curse, I curse. But of course, on the inside, you don't see how it looks on the outside, and people are just staring at you like you ain't got no home training. Like, I miss that, man. I think parents got to really start talking to their kids about, look, kids are going to curse regardless, right? They going to curse. And some parents are okay with their kids cursing in front of them. And there's some parents that curse in front of their kids. And guess where they get that from their parents. But then I think people got to start teaching their kids, listen, you curse, but you also got to keep in mind that they're going to be older folk that are not quite open to young adults cursing. So you have to respect your elders and not curse around them. And you also have to keep in mind of the young kids. A lot of parents want to raise their kids a certain way, and they don't have to hear all these curses. You have to respect the young kids too, that are 3 and 4 that are just looking at you as the older one, and you want to have some sense of couth. So I miss that because we don't really correct these young adults. I mean, the thing about it, I'm not on public transportation as much. I drive everywhere, but still, when I'm walking or I'm driving by at a red light and I hear these kids, cursing and I hear stories too, and other people on the train, I'm like, word. So yeah, definitely. And along with that, as far as we're talking about kids, Instagram, everybody knows what happened to Instagram. Of course, it's shutting down and Facebook and all that, but that's a whole nother story. Everybody knows how I feel about social media and Facebook and Instagram and all that. The issues that I'm going through with Instagram, them shutting me down. Yeah, so you already know how I feel about that. However, there's one thing that I did like that came out in the news several days ago, whenever. They were talking about how Instagram wants to do Instagram Kids. Of course, it didn't make it. I don't know why they stopped it. I didn't read. All I read was the headline. Certain headlines I read, and I don't go any further than the headline. I just don't. I see the headline. If it interests me, I see it. If it doesn't, I keep it pushing. So, but the headline says Instagram wants to start an Instagram Kids. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that would be cool. Because a lot of these kids are on Instagram and there's so much adult content on there that how the hell are you supposed to regulate what these kids look at if they got an Instagram account? To me, kids shouldn't have Instagram until they're about, 14, 15. All right? Because, anything younger than that, parents raise their kids differently, no doubt. I know some parents that let they kids have Instagram at like 9, 10. And I think that's way too young for kids to have Instagram. Now, there are alternatives that I hear that are out there that kids can use. But then, of course, people see the kids say, well, I want to use Instagram. I want to use this reject. But that's kids. Don't worry about it. They'll get used to it, right? So Instagram, they were thinking about doing Instagram Kids. They decided against it. But I think that's a fantastic idea because at least you can regulate the type of content that young adults are going to see when they're 9, 10, 11. Like if they had Instagram Kids and I knew what was on there, I wouldn't mind my kid having Instagram. She already talks with her friends on on FaceTime on her iPad, and they play Roblox and they do all this. And it's like 8, 10 of them on there at the same time doing Roblox. If they had a kid's Instagram, I wouldn't, for now, I'm just saying. He'd be like, you just say you ain't like Instagram. I'm just saying in terms of this particular argument, folks, let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. If kids got to use Instagram, there should be an Instagram Kids. And I'll figure out why later. But it drives me to the point when it comes to radio too, man. And if I brought this up, I'm going to bring it up again. And I would love to do this myself, but I don't care who does it at this point. I would love for some brother to come out with hip hop radio for kids, because I'm taking my kid to school. I'm going from point A to point B. My kid's in the back. Sometimes she got her headphones on. Sometimes she doesn't. I want to listen to the radio. I listen to Hot 97. I listen to Power 105. I listen to all types of stations. And there's certain hip hop music, R&B or hip hop, that's not suitable for children. For children, for tweens. And it goes, now it's funny that you listen to hip hop when you are 16. Back in the day, I listen to certain music now that I was listening to back in the day, 16, 17. I was like, God damn, they mad raw. You grow up, man. You grow up. You see things a little differently. You know what I mean? I'm listening to Biggie album, I'm like, God damn, Biggie was going through some things in the hood. You know what I mean? So I'm listening to this joint while my kid's like not too far. I'm like, I can't play that song, Skip. You listen to that song, I can't play that song, Skip. You know what I mean? So I'm listening to the radio, and even though they don't play curses, at the same time they're playing, they got to play the words. And even the words, even I'm talking about with my wife, even the R&B is different from how it was when we was young to what it is now. At least it was innuendo, it was double talk, double speech. You know, people couldn't figure out certain things. you can ease into it. You know what I mean? That's coming from how R&B was back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. So it was tradition that you didn't always have to be, you don't have to be vulgar. You know what people were talking about, the way they said and what they said. But now, the R&B of today, goddamn, bro, they go deep. I mean, it's like a it's like a pornographic audiobook. Like, damn, bro, you got to go through the detail, what you're going to do with the thing and put it this way and drop it down like it's hot and then dot. And they, god damn. So, you know, as an adult, I'm listening to this music. Okay, cool. And then now I'm a parent. I'm like, whoa. Skip that song. Skip that song, definitely. My kid, yo, listen. When Cardi B come on, that song, none of Cardi B's songs play in the car. And my kid in it. Meg Thee Stallion, none of them songs play in my car. I'll listen to it by myself. If I got, other family members, I don't mind playing it. But when my kid's in the car, can't listen to that song. I have to switch to freaking Heart and Soul on Sirius XM, and sometimes some questionable songs peek through in Heart and Soul. I gotta keep it G-rated. You know what I mean? So I'm saying, how come we, as big as hip hop is, the global force that it is, how come we don't have a hip hop station for kids? Like, remember back in the day, ABC, right? It was a kid. It was I think Bell. I forgot who from New Edition. I think it was Bell or something like. Did ABC, right? There was some other kids group I can't remember right now. I was actually listening to them joints a couple days ago over the weekend. Yo, we need a hip hop kids R&B. Like, come on. How come this hasn't been done yet? It is a no-brainer. And then somebody was like, I think my wife saying, she's like, well, you could switch to Disney. Yo, Disney is lame. Disney is fucking lame, man. Nobody's listening to R&B and hip hop on no Disney goddamn station. It is trash. It is corny. The music they play. They get some, Britney Spears. Okay, baby, it's lame, man. Somebody has to create. If it ain't gonna be me at some point, I got my hands full already. So whoever's listening is, it is a gold mine. A gold mine for you to start a hip hop station for kids. So parents that are part of the culture in the hip hop can allow their kids, or they can listen to the song in the car with their kids in the back, and they can sing along with them because the songs are cool. And then when the kids get out and they go on to school, you could switch it to 105. I can't have my kid listen to Chris Brown. I'm sorry. I am sorry. My kid actually was funny. I was at the computer and my kid's singing, right? my kid's dad, right? She's singing a song and she's singing Silk. I'm like, what? What was that song? It was bedroom song. Even me in my bedroom. I'm like, whoa. You can't sing. You can't sing that song. But what do you mean, Daddy? Why I can't sing that? Yo, I don't understand the lyrics. That's right. You don't understand the lyrics, and you're singing lyrics that you shouldn't be singing. So you can go off and go ahead to school and sing these lyrics. All these teachers going to be like, oh my God, why do they have these kids? No. You don't sing that song. That song is not for you. I don't want a 9-10-year-old singing that. There's a meeting in my bedroom. Meeting at the playground, all right? Meeting playing the letter blocks, meeting playing Roblox, but not the other song. You know what I mean? All y'all parents know what I'm talking about. All y'all know what I'm talking about. We never thought about this in our teens, in 20s, in our 30s. Once we have kids, as soon as we have them, it just does a 180. You start listening to music like, hold on, let me listen to this song right before my kids get in this car. Okay, you said, oh no. That song cannot play. That cannot play with my kids in the car. So you know what I'm talking about. Somebody do it, man. If it ain't gonna be somebody, because everybody's gonna be open to it. Parents, you got the kids and the. Now, let's keep it real. I'm going to say this. As a forewarning, don't treat these kids like they're objects. All right? Not like a K-pop group. And you running them kids ragged once they become the next, I don't know, Menudo. And they can't do no school. Don't be running these kids ragged. You know, I heard the story about Will Smith's daughter when Will was like, he was treating it serious. And his daughter was like, you know, when that song, everybody knows how this story goes if they heard it. Willow was doing whipping my head back and forth. And she was like, Daddy, I'm ready to go home now. And he was like, what? We got this tour? We got all this doing? Will was taking it mad serious. He was like, we going to make this pop. This is for my daughter. He wants to do it for his daughter. But his daughter was like, nope, I'm done. So we got to respect the minds of children, their mental health, their physical health. And we cannot treat them like they're bears on a unicycle. So when they feel that they're done, and if you have any child performance, let them be done. Or pull back, or really pull back. And I know it's hard to do. Now, Will Smith could do it because he already got paper. But when your kid hits it big, and pretty much your kid is, I hate to say it, your kid's a cash cow. Because you worked a middle class job, but now your kid's hitting it big, and she's on, let's say, for sake of argument, she's on Disney, whatever, Mickey Mouse Club, like Britney Spears, right? Next thing you know, you're not necessarily going to turn out all that money because it's going to set up everyone for life. So I don't know. It depends on the parents, man. But I think definitely that we should do this hip hop kids radio station, man. This is so needed. I don't care. Man, y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. You have no idea. Anyway, let's see how this goes. What's the last thing I was going to talk about? I don't know. The whole thing with I thought I was going to save it for another time. Facebook, IG. Before I get out of here, everybody knows that Facebook and IG shut down. Yo, what? What a time, man. What a time. What a time. What did the shutdown tell us? And very briefly, before I cut out of here, the Facebook IG, there was a whistleblower by the name of Frances Haugen, and she was talking about how Facebook was adjusting their algorithms to lean more towards divisive, hateful, phobia-inducing content, because that's how they generate their money. Because the more craziness that Facebook leans on, or the algorithms point in that direction, the more eyes they get, the more ears they get more traffic. That's how they sell themselves. But unfortunately, it's not good for the mental health for the people, the consumers that are watching and consuming this imagery. So all this came out. Basically, she had piles and piles of papers saying that Facebook was pretty much like, we don't care. We're trying to get this bread. And she was like, but okay, I'm going to just dump all this information and put it on 60 Minutes, right? Or wherever she had this paperwork. So as that came out, what happens? Facebook and IG shuts down. Oh my God, nobody can get on Facebook and IG. Look what took place. How convenient that Facebook and IG went down when this whistleblower came forward on 60 Minutes. What were they doing? I wonder what they were doing. I saw some articles or some tweets saying that they were trying to break into the server room or something. They didn't have the keys, so they had to bust in, right? To just like, maybe Facebook was doing some cleaning up. And reportedly, the report says that Mark Zuckerberg lost about $9 billion for the hours that it was down. $9 billion. Now, some people were saying that, hey, this is one of those unfortunate things that he lost because of the Facebook shutdown. But let's look at it from another angle. Maybe he knew what he was doing. I don't know what he had to do. I don't know, clean up, add an algorithm. Maybe he had some sort of pre-programmed software that he wanted to install to clean some things. I don't know. The cache, clean up the cache. You know how you do on your computer. Who knows? Maybe they already understood that as far as all the shareholders say, hey, listen, we shut this down, our stocks are going to plummet. And this was a calculated risk on Mark Zuckerberg's part to do whatever he wanted to do, but knowing that, of course, when everything gets fixed, don't worry, people's emotions will ease and the stocks of Facebook will go right back up. Maybe this was a calculated risk because they knew this was going to happen. But what else did it tell us, right, with Facebook? Nothing really changed. All right. When we lost Facebook and IG, nothing really changed. Now people did jump to Twitter, as I did, but nothing really changed. Like, and it also, there was a meme that I shared on IG. It was basically the woman, the white woman from the reality TV show, and the head nodding cat. You know those memes 1,000 times. And pretty much what it said, and I go right to it on my account. Oh God, let me put in the code. What's it say? Oh yeah, so the woman on the left is saying, "I'm a model on Instagram," right? But the cat is saying, "And now you aren't." All that to say is, when IG and Facebook went down, you realize how much you put all of your investments, your financial investment, your business, you being an IG model, which I'm not going to front is a business in itself. Everything that every part that makes up your identity that is on Instagram disappeared in a snap of a finger. So everything that you are known for, everything that you're respected on, everything that people look to you about, that you gathered, all this content that you've curated over the years, the months, everything that when people go through your profile, everything that you are disappeared. You're no one anymore, right? And all that money that was being generated from this content on Instagram disappeared. Now, you do have your website for those that are serious about their business, but usually where people go to first when they want to find out about you, they go to your social media profiles, your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, right? Facebook owns Instagram. Instagram has more traffic than Facebook. Facebook is just the backbone to Instagram. Everybody uses Instagram more. So now it's gone. So do you think that Facebook, as the social media mega corporation that it is, they say supposedly they have 3 billion people that are using Instagram or set up profiles on Instagram. Do you think that it's wise to have Facebook, on the 3 billion people that are on Facebook, did I say Instagram? On Facebook, and Facebook owns Instagram. Do you think that it is wise for this mega corporation to be the only one in the business of social media? Do you think that it makes sense? Instagram went down, Facebook went down, WhatsApp, they own WhatsApp, that went down. The iMessage, that went. I mean, you were totally, all that activity you were having for the last couple of days, you have no connection. You're detached. It's over. It's gone. So do you think it's wise to have Facebook and Instagram, the leading social media sites, and not saying leading me, they just, hey, everybody just wants to come to us, where they control, they monopolize this sector, social media sector? Should they be broken up? Should other companies have the opportunity to get their own space in the social media sector? 3 billion people is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. 3 billion people is a lot if Facebook has that many people, right? 50 million is 50 million people using your app. That's pretty good. 100 million, 200, 300. If you have 50 million, I'm sure you're not tripping. You have generated a whole lot of content, and in any way where you can monetize it, you have a right to. But you know what? Instagram and Facebook can't be the only people on the block. It can't. Especially if you put all your energy, your business into this profile you created, and within a snap of a finger, poof, everything is gone. You live your life by these things. Yes, I think alternatives should happen. And yes, I'm a self-plug. Lyfeblood is right there. Right? Now, do I want to go for the target of a couple billion users? Sure. I'm not gonna say I don't want to. I have plans. But even if I have 50 to 100 million and I top out at that, hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. But secretly, I'll go for the 2 billion. Yeah, you got to break that up. Because, of course, there was another joke Twitter had. Twitter say, well, hello, everyone. Because, of course, everyone was jumping over to Twitter when Instagram and Facebook went down. But you know what? It'll be dope if we can kind of duplicate or have a certain redundancy, right? Like I said before, I've said on the show many times before, there's more than one sneaker company, and they all are part in the market. They all have room to make money in the sneaker game. Nike, Adidas, Asics. Am I right? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Adidas, all of them. All of them, even the ones those are the top level ones, even ones that we don't even know about, Puma, the lower. Everyone has an opportunity to get into this game. And why should it be only Facebook? And this is the problem, allowing or not really thinking how monopolization of this sector can be a problem, because once you are out, you are gone. Now, Blavity, and last point I make before I get out of here, Blavity did say something on social media that's saying, hey, where's Black Planet? I'm not knocking Black Planet. Whoever owns Black Planet, yeah. We were on Black Planet, 25,000 years ago? It was cool for the time. It was cool. It wasn't what it was. It was cool. It was like kind of like an early Black Tinder, right? But it's no more. I mean, why are we talking about old things? It's like something going wrong with your Hyundai Palisade, right? The Hyundai Palisade goes down, and then all of a sudden people are going to mention, hey, what about that Shelby, what do you call it? That Model T Ford. How about we bring that back? I'm like, well, we'll put an electric engine in it. Huh? What? Who said Model T Ford? Who brought them? What? We ain't bringing them up. We're just saying fix my Honda. Let's get some other cars out there. Fix my Hyundai Palisade, but let's get there's other companies out there that has dope product. I mean, what are we talking about the Model T Ford? It's the same thing. Not knocking the owners or whoever owns Black Planet right now, but I'm saying the same thing. Why are we talking about Black Planet? Look what happened to MySpace. Freaking, what's his name? Justin Timberlake bought that company trying to revive MySpace. That didn't go nowhere. People didn't want to go to MySpace. Been there, done that. That's what I'm saying. Been there, done that. There's plenty of other companies that I know that's out there, and I'll tell you guys on the next show. I can't remember right now that particularly Black-owned ones that have their own social media platform. And this also goes along with what's going on with all those other Black celebrities or rappers or whatever that's getting kicked off, including me. I'm not saying I'm a celebrity, but are getting kicked off of IG. And here's another one. I'm thinking of sharing. I saw one, and I saved it, man. I saved it, and I'm totally. I think, let me see if I can bring this up, because I had to screenshot this because I was looking at Twitter on my computer while I was checking out my emails or whatever. And this young kid, I'm gonna say his name, Jell Postma, Jell Jelle Postma, like Postma. So his at Twitter is Jell Tells. So he says, this is a young kid. He's got a baby face. He said, I grew from 50 to 1,000 followers in less than a year, and I have no clue how. But I do know which people you should follow to make your Twitter experience great. And then, of course, he goes into his Twitter chain or whatever like that. And I'm thinking, this kid just started his Twitter account in 2019 to 2020, and he's already grown to 1,000 followers? Fuck, I've been on Twitter for like 10 years, and I still got like 750. And I was going out like a bad. It's not like I was slouching on Twitter. At times I was going hard on Twitter. Yeah, last couple times, everything with the Instagram thing, I was promoting on Twitter, and my shit don't budge. And this kid, I'm like, yeah, I was gonna go into the white privilege. I actually made a meme, and I'm gonna share with y'all. I actually made a meme, and I was like, yo, should I share it? I don't know. And I actually said, and I wrote, what white privilege, technology, and the obliviousness of the people it benefits looks like. Because I'm like, wait, how the hell? And, I could be wrong. I'm just saying, I'm just looking at this firsthand. I'm like, yo, how does kid 19 get, what he doing? Shit, I've been on this for 10 years and I still ain't break 1,000. I ain't even crack 1,000 followers on Twitter. But hey man, I was just an initial thought. So it makes me think about, as we already know, as a lot of people are, this is not speculation, a lot of people saying that algorithms are affecting Black profiles on social media. Okay, well, and we can't do anything because that's their house. So what are you saying? You got to Bill Jones, right? So all this to say is we recognize that our lives didn't dramatically change when Facebook and Instagram shut off. 2, we do realize how much we invested business-wise and monetarily into Facebook and Instagram. Like once they shut off, we realized, oh shit, we got everything on Instagram, and pretty much my whole identity is gone. All that 10 years of curating gone, right? And number 3, maybe that Facebook shouldn't be a monopoly, and it shouldn't try to purposely shut down other businesses, because remember, Instagram wasn't made by Facebook. They bought it. So maybe there should be other people in the game. Something to think about. All right, guys. I talked enough. I got about a little bit over an hour. I appreciate you guys listening to me. I appreciate you guys listening to me fumble about and trying to get my words and figure out what I want to say in ways that can be pointed. Here we go. Even I'm trying to say it, I'm messing it up. That can fit for your ears. That's fit for your ears or whatever. That could generate some conversation amongst yourselves wherever you're at. And that's what I'm here to do, is being on this podcast, is talking to you guys regular. I'm a regular dude, owner of Lyfeblood.com, and host of this podcast radio show that I talk to you guys on a weekly basis. So yeah, man, have your own conversations at home, and I guess I'll talk to you guys next week. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. Peace.
Check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.